Hey guys, Tyler here. After this year's election, many Democrats have been having discussions and debates on why exactly they lost this year's election. Now, one of the claims that people made in response to the discussions that Democrats had was the fact that many people pointed out to the transgender issue as the main reason why exactly they lost. Now, there are two Democrats that actually responded to this. The first person is actually John Oliver, directly from HBO.
And it was frustrating to see the Harris campaign fail to formulate a response, especially because it's pretty easy to do. Watch, I'll do it for you right now. As we've discussed before, there are vanishingly few trans girls competing in high schools anywhere. Even if there were more, trans kids, like all kids, vary in athletic ability, and there is no evidence they pose any threat to safety or fairness.
The second response video comes directly from Jim Paskowski, who was actually the former press secretary for the White House for the case of the Biden administration.
Look, reflection is good, but if that were actually an issue at thousands of schools across the country, it would be worthy of a debate. But there are just incredibly few examples of transgender girls playing in youth sports. And when we see those examples, there isn't evidence that these kids are a threat to safety or fairness.
Before I make my video response to the comments that were made by both people, I first want to state that this video is not necessarily against transgender people as individuals. I encourage every single last follower of mine to treat transgender people with kindness and respect, because ultimately we need to judge people based upon their actions, based upon what they say and have not said, and also to judge them as an individual rather than collective. And so do not hurt people because they're transgender or try to cause violence against somebody because they're transgender. This is actually in response to argumentations that have been done directly by activists. One aspect that I immediately noticed for the case of far left activists is that they partake in a lot of gaslighting. For example, they will say it is not happening. It might be happening a little, but who cares? It's happening, but it's a good thing. It's happening, but you deserve it. The very first claim of both videos was that they said that trans girls competing with girls is not necessarily common. There was a study that was done directly by the Trevor Project that goes into great details about the data in this regards. It says right here that sports participation was more common among LGBTQ youth who were less out about their LGBT identity. 1 in 3 LGBT youth who were not out to anyone about their sexual orientation participated in sports compared to 1 in 5 who were out to all or most of those they knew. Similarly, TGMB youth who were more out about their gender identity were less involved in sports than those who were not out about their gender identity. Now, this is actually a graph of the data right here. Now, the blue actually represents none of the people I know. The green represents a few of the people I know. And the yellow represents some of the people I know. And also the red represents a lot of the people I know. And the orange represents all or most of the people I know. And it seems as though when it comes down to gender identity, it shows that for the blue, only 20% said none of the people I know. For the green, it says that 19% say that few of the people I know. For 60% for the yellow, for gender identity, it says some people I know. For the red, it says that a lot of the people I know, which is like 15%. And finally, for the orange, for 13% of gender identity, it says all or most of the people I know. There's also another study that's called How Many Adults and Youth Identify as Transgender in the United States that was published on June 2022. For the case of transgender youth, which are the 13 to 17-year-olds, they represent at least 1.4% of the transgender population in the United States. and the total estimate of their population are 300,100. There's actually a video that comes directly from PBS that says transgender athletes seek protections to play sports. And so without hesitation, let's see the video clip and see what exactly are the numbers for the case of transgender youth competing in sports.
We have to, in my opinion, be inclusive for students, and I've tried to do that to the best of my ability, along with maintaining some balance in athletic participation. And so someone isn't getting a competitive advantage in a sport because of a gender-related advantage.
Anderson says he receives between 20 and 25 requests a year from students looking to switch sports participation. He's rejected only one from a high school senior looking to compete in girls track and field.
Since the last video came directly from Chicago, this comes directly from the state of Ohio. It says right here that the Ohio High School Athletic Association currently has a policy for determining whether a transgender athlete can play on a women's sports team. That organization testified on the legislation last fall and is expected to weigh in again on this version of the bill. The OHSAA reports only 6 transgender students are currently playing on girls' sports teams in Ohio high schools. Now, this actually comes directly from the data from their particular website. It shows that at least there has been 30 approvals for this particular high school that's labeled FTM. Now, when it comes down to FTM for like 7th and 8th grade, at least only 8 approvals. And also for the case of MTF High School, there has been at least 10 approvals. Now for MTF for 7th and 8th grade, it has been at least 13 approvals. So based upon the data I just read out right now, I think it's so incredibly misleading to say that there's only a few examples of trans girls playing against girls within sports for the case of the school setting. The second major claim for both videos was that trans athletes don't necessarily have any type of physical advantages over girls.
I was severely injured in a high school volleyball game by a transgender athlete on the opposing team. I suffered from a concussion and neck injury that to this day I'm still recovering from. Other injuries I still suffer from today include impaired vision, partial paralysis on my right side, constant headaches, as well as anxiety and depression. I was unable to play the rest of my last volleyball season, and although I am currently playing softball, I am not able to perform as well as I know I have in the past because of the injury. My ability to learn, retain, comprehend has also been impaired, and I require accommodations at school for testing because of this. I could go on and on about how this incident has affected my life, but I'm not here for that, because I'm not here for me. Because for me, I know that my time playing is coming to an end. I'm here for every biological female athlete behind me. My little sister, my cousins, my teammates. Allowing biological males to compete against biological females is dangerous. I may be the first to come before you with an injury, but if this doesn't pass, I won't be the last. The North Carolina High School Athletic Association policy states that it allows participation in interscholastic athletics for all students, regardless of gender or gender identification. It is the intent that all students are able to compete on a level playing field in a safe, competitive, and friendly environment, free of discrimination. Clearly, that does not include biological female athletes.
For those who have no idea about the person in the video, her name is Peyton McNB. What is so incredibly crazy about this particular story is that there's actually footage of her actually being injured. And so without further hesitation, let's see the video footage and see what actually occurred. If that video footage was not necessarily enough to convince you that boys are stronger than girls, we also know that males on average have generally larger muscle mass in comparison to females. What I find so incredibly interesting is that these are the same kind of people that say that those people on the right who deny the evidence for evolution and climate change are crazies, and to that extent, I would say they're absolutely correct. But the same people who make that kind of argumentation that people on the right who deny evolution or climate change probably subscribes to the ideas, the webpage of I fucking love science, and at the same breath say that there is no such evidence whatsoever of some sort of physical differences between men and women. That is crazy. You cannot possibly make fun of one side denying science for evolution and climate change while at the same breath deny evidence that there are physiological differences between men and women. That's crazy to me. But what do you guys think about my response? Tell me in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll see you guys next video.